Thanks, Mike. Thanks for doing this.
No, thanks for having me. How early back do you want to go? Do you want to start like when you first when did you want to become an actor? What happened?
Oh, when did I want to become an actor? Well, I guess when I was 12 years old, I was looking for something to do after school. I wasn't athletic, and I was in Kentucky. And there was a bulletin board in the hallway that had all these after-school programs you could do that weren't sports. And one of them was something called a speech team. And I went in for an audition, and they gave me a little monologue to work on from Lake Wobegon Days by Garrison Keillor. And I was not the main monologue competitor. I was the alternate in case the one they really liked got sick. But they never got sick, so I never actually performed the monologue. But I memorized it anyway, and and then I got into high school and started auditioning for shows, and Eventually, I found myself in Chicago, and I started doing theater in Chicago, and that's it.
So, I watched your first on-screen performance, House of Pain. Now, it's not the band House of Pain. It is a.
Dang, Mike, I'm impressed.
It is a band, Every Mother's Nightmare, and the song is called House of Pain. And he is the star of the video. He plays a troubled youth. This is like '93, I think. I watched it today.
If you're asking me to recall when this took place,
I thought you would remember.
You got the wrong
being
guy.
in a rock video.
Well, it's not the only rock video I was in. I was also in a Foreigner music video. We'll get to that later.
How do you wind up in a music video? Do you honestly not remember?
Well, they're not the hardest gigs to get. Everybody in here knows you go scraping around and you get what's offered, I guess. But they were to the best of my recollection, not non-union gigs. Gosh, I don't even know if I got paid for it. Yeah.
So, that same year, you were in your first movie. Do people know what this is? Yeah. Groundhog Day, yes. Your character gets to go to WrestleMania, which is a nice line that still holds up well today. So, I believe your acting teacher at the time, Jane Brody, was the casting director for the movie, and that's how you got into that.
Yeah, when I was starting out in Chicago, there were 3 casting directors, and they were all named Jane. It was Jane Brody, Jane Alderman, and Jane Heitz. They were the 3 Janes. And yeah, Jane Brody took a shine to me. She had a scene study class, and she let me take it on the house, and then she would bring me in for auditions from time to time, yeah. So I, through her, was able to meet Harold Ramis, who, said, okay.
Well, I am curious what that experience is like for someone who's never been in a movie before, going like, okay, there's a lot of really famous people in this movie, and Harold Ramis is directing it, and I have speaking roles.
Yeah, a little bit of speaking role. I mean,
very memorable. Everyone remembers that scene.
But I just soaked it all up. I got to go and be on set and watch people I really admired do their thing, and I mean, it's a very unique movie because if you're in a location. They keep revisiting that location. So, I spent a lot of time just sitting in the diner, getting to watch Bill do his thing, which was, magical because he was always, every take, just coming up with something new. And I was just in awe of his ability to do that, even though Chicago is a improv town. And Second City's there, and Improv Olympic. The great Del Close taught a lot of people that you probably know and love. And I had been doing improv in a little coffee shop. Anyway, it was a beautiful, way to experience that as opposed to just being like a PA or something, knowing that you eventually will get to contribute. Yeah.
I mentioned this. So I did an interview with him in September for his new film Nuremberg, which he's fantastic in. And I think I mentioned this to you then, that I have this theory, because you'll be just watching cable and an older movie comes on and he's in it. And you didn't know that at the time, but now you know it. And it feels like you're a time traveler who goes back and just inserts himself into like an elevator scene with Tom Cruise and Kurt Russell and Vanilla Sky. And then there you are too.
That's funny. I was just talking about Vanilla Sky earlier today. Yeah, that was similar to Groundhog Day, a situation where you're mostly just watching other people do stuff, but you're watching, Tom Cruise and Kurt Russell, which was fascinating. A lot of the stuff I actually did get to do in that movie wound up on the cutting room floor. I remember I had finished shooting, and I was in Chicago. I was actually doing a stage production of Bug, if you're familiar with it. This was 2001. I was doing Bug in Chicago when 9/11 happened, which was wild. And we get a call from Paramount, and they say, Cameron wants to add something. And I say, well, I'm busy. And I was, very devoted to the play, and but Cameron kept insisting that he had to have this new thing he came up with. And so I said, well, because the show, it was in a small theater, but it was selling out. And I said, well, if you're willing to pay for the shows that I missed to give the theater the money that they would have made, then I'll do it. And so they did. And so they had to pay that, and then they had to fly me out to L.A., put me up. I spent 2 days. It was in the end sequence. It was in the lobby of the office building, and they had all these extras, and they wanted me to chase Tom Cruise around with a gun, and I'm trying to shoot him. And then he gets a gun from somebody, and he shoots me, and I'm lying on the floor. But it was just huge. It took like 2 days to shoot all of this. And then I eventually go see the movie, and it's not in there. I think you could make like 20 different versions of Vanilla Sky from the amount of footage that Cameron shot. The camera always seemed to be rolling, like even between takes when him and Tom were just talking about things. I never heard the word cut. It was just always, the camera was always rolling.
So I'd be remiss if I did not mention this too, because we mentioned Jane Brody earlier, and I know she was also the casting director on your second film, which also put you in with a lot of famous people. Who remembers Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman? He's in this too.
Remind me what I do in that.
You drive a flower delivery truck.
Right. I'm a flower delivery guy, yes. And who do I deliver flowers to?
I don't remember that.
Who
but I don't think this time your character does not have a name. So
no, you're just a flower delivery guy.
Yeah, he's the flower delivery guy. But I believed it. I believed you had flowers.
I did a lot of research. I was at the FTD for days. Yeah.
What was the first year of your career where, like, because I'm looking at, like, by the time we get to like 2000, you're in Tigerland, Cecil B. Demented, you're working with Joel Schumacher, John Waters. Was that the year just like, oh, this is some stuff is starting to happen here?
Well, basically what happened is that I came to New York to do a play off Broadway called Killer Joe. That was in, oh, thank you. That was in 1998. And when I did that play, a fella came to the play and he got my number. He got a hold of me and he said, I want to be your manager. And I said, well, I've never had a manager. I don't even know what that means. I'd had agents, but never a manager. And he said, well, I'll show you what it means. And I went to his office and he made a phone call and said, go tomorrow and do this scene for these people. And I did, and I got the part. It was a movie called Jesus' Son. And I said, wow. And he said, yeah, I know what I'm doing, don't I? And I said, yeah, okay. And then he got me in to see Billy Hopkins for Cecil B. Demented, and got me in to see Joel Schumacher through Mally Finn, I believe it was. And this fellow was a fellow named Lee Daniels, who now is a producer, director, but at the time he was a manager, and he was a force. I mean, he got me into rooms I never imagined I'd get into, and then he prodded me into going out to Los Angeles, and that's when I started, standing. Next thing I know, I'm standing in front of Jerry Bruckheimer, like, whoa, okay, and getting into these big blockbustery type movies. So I really owe Lee Daniels a tremendous amount. If you see him, tell him I say thank you. Yeah.
You mentioned already both Bug and Killer Joe, which both became movies directed by Friedkin. You're not in Killer Joe, but you are in Bug. Why aren't you in the Killer Joe movie? I know. Take Shelter is that same year. I didn't know if there was overlap that you couldn't.
Here's what happened. So,
okay.
In the stage play Killer Joe, I originate the role of Chris Smith, the son, the young man, and I played that part over 400 times. And Chris Smith really does not like his father, Ansel, in the play. And so when Billy was making the movie, he said, you're obviously too old to play Chris anymore, but I was wondering if you'd like to play Ansel. And I had such a deep-rooted hatred in my central nervous system of Ansel from the years I spent playing Chris that I said, Billy, I'm not going to do that. I don't think I could do that because I hate him.
All right, that's the answer. You mentioned Bruckheimer and being on these big blockbuster sets, which one of them is Pearl Harbor. What was that like? That movie's crazy. It
is crazy, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what is that like?
I mean, it was a massive experience. It went on for months and months. There's a lot about that movie I'm very grateful for. It brought me to, I don't think I ever would have visited Pearl Harbor otherwise. And it's definitely something everyone should see, I think, that place. But I don't know if I would have ever gone to Hawaii if it weren't for that movie, because it's far. But like one of the things I remember is, this doesn't even have to do with shooting it, but there was the P-40, the old planes that they had. There were some pilots there who had actually flown those back in the day, and I got to participate. Me and one of my co-stars, Ewan Bremner, we went up in these planes, and we flew over the USS Arizona in the water, so you could look over the side. And I'd been out on the little bridge that goes over it, and I'd looked down, and I'd seen the oil bubbling up out of it. But you can't tell when you're on that bridge what you're standing over. and to look over the side and see it from the skies. You can see the boat in the water, and it just was one of the most insane things I'd ever seen. And just to walk around there and see the bullet holes from all the strafing still there and all that, it was just. I say this all the time. I feel like I learned so much more about history from my job than I ever did in school, and I wish everybody got that opportunity. But I'm lucky I got it.
So, when I was doing preparation, I came across this YouTube video called "Michael Shannon Being a Badass for 5 Minutes." It featured 3 movies: Bad Boys 2, Kangaroo Jack, and Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
I don't recall being a badass in Bad Boys 2.
You ain't no snitch.
But I wind up in like the trunk of a car.
That's true, you do. Yeah.
That's not a real badass play.
The name of the YouTube guy was Mr. Gen X. That's his name. According to Mr. Gen X, he thought you were a badass.
It's a very distinguished name, Mr. Gen X. That's pretty presumptuous. Claim to be Mr. Gen X.
Yeah. Why isn't it either of us? Why is it this guy?
Yeah, right, exactly.
You are great in Kangaroo Jack, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was actually a big deal when I did that at the time, because it was actually the most money I'd ever been paid to act up until that point in time, and so it was nothing to sneeze at. And I got to go to Australia, and I got to see Uluru, the big rock in the middle, Ayers Rock, some people call it. I got to walk around there. Then I got stuck in the outback with these 2 guys.
Wait,
literally all night long we walked through the, I don't know, is that a desert maybe? Yeah, our car got stuck in a dry riverbed, and we walked all night long with only the light of the moon to guide us and to try and get back to like civilization. And eventually the sun
Aren't there
came
like
up.
dingoes? Dingoes, that's a thing, right?
I'm still here. I mean, unless we're all dead, I don't know. Could be.
I'm gonna throw a quote at you that you gave me once, because I was somehow comedies came up, and you said, "Don't tell me to do comedies," but I wasn't telling him to do comedies. I think there was a straw man in the room that you were yelling at. I've done comedies. Did you ever see Grand Theft Parsons? That's a F-word comedy. Did you? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, so I did that. I mean,
like it when you say F-word.
F-word. Okay. Did you go see it? No. I did 3 comedic roles for Jerry Bruckheimer. I did Pearl Harbor. I'm comic relief in Bad Boys 2. I'm the F-word comic relief. And then I did Kangaroo Jack, which is, I mean, for better or worse, ostensibly a comedy. But Grand Theft Parsons, I wanted to mention it because I think you're a little offended people didn't see Grand Theft Parsons.
Well, I've gotten over it. I think this is an old interview that you're quoting.
But even then, that movie was 10 years old, so I don't know when that goes away. But
it has. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's an interesting story, you know. Plus, I just really love Graham Parsons, the music of Graham Parsons. But it's me and Johnny Knoxville together being pretty silly, yeah.
This is from Chris. Where's Chris at? The anti-acting aliens. Okay, there he is. Okay. If anti-acting aliens invaded Earth, which I presume would be aliens that they're cool with everything else, but don't like acting, and nobody were allowed to act, including you. You don't get an exemption from the aliens. What would you do for a living, and why?
Well, first of all, I think they may already be amongst us, the anti-acting aliens. So this may not be such a
Not here. They wouldn't be in
hypothetical
SAG.
question. Well, we're safe in here for now.
I feel like that's the first question on a SAG employment sheet.
Are you
an
an
anti-acting
anti-acting
alien?
alien?
If you put yes, you don't get in.
Yeah. Well,
Unless Chris is an anti-acting alien and is planning. Okay, you're not planning your invasion.
well, I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it, but you said musician, and I mean, I think it's kind of well-known, documented fact that I do music too, and I like it. I like doing it, so I can make something up, but that is kind of the answer. What?
Well, now you're changing the rules. They don't like music either. Come on. Now we're being ridiculous.
If I couldn't do any artistic endeavor, what would I do? I'd probably become an assassin.
Okay. Like a hitman or like for like a government would you work for the government? Would you work?
I'd kill the aliens.
Oh, you kill the aliens. Okay, yeah. There you go. There's your answer. The aliens would eventually be gone because he would get rid of them, and then people could act again. There's his answer.
And then we could make a movie about it.
I'm going to follow it up because this goes into what you were just saying. This is from Lindsay. How does music influence your creativity through acting?
Well, yeah, I've relied on music for a long time. Probably, frankly, more in theater than in camera work. I always, if I'm doing a performance that night, I listen to music on my way to the theater, listen to music in the dressing room. But I feel like music is totally infused in like the way I approach dialogue and like the rhythm of things. I feel like even like speech has a melody to it. It's complicated. There's also, just the acting component of it, telling a story, being in the relationship, being in the moment, going for your objective. But I'm also just always kind of mindful of the musicality of a scene, the rhythm of a scene. I think it's very subconscious. Ultimately, I don't think it's anything I like sit down and write notes about, but I think it's just part of my sensitivity, my natural sensitivity when I'm working.
So as you explained, you were famously not in Killer Joe now, but you are in Bug. What was it like working for Friedkin? Like that's got to be, is that intimidating? Is that especially at that point in your career, or was he great?
I was very moved by him insisting on me being in the movie, because the people that were financing the movie would have rather had someone else, obviously, nobody really knew who the heck I was, and that makes it harder to sell tickets, so they were always trying to get them. And I also felt I had some remorse about the fact that the other people that I did the play with didn't get brought along with me, because he originally said that because he had seen the play in New York, and he had said, I want to take this cast and put them in the movie, and Lionsgate was like, hell no. So I don't know if they said you get to pick one or what the hell machinations went on, but but the fact that he stood up for me led me to believe, and he was constantly saying very positive things to me. So I wasn't really too scared of him. I mean, it did. Sometimes it was a little awkward just because I'd been doing the play for such a long time. I had done 3 productions of it by the time we got to the film, and I was the only one on the set who had ever done it as a play. So it was new to all these other people, but I knew it. And sometimes Billy would have an idea, and frankly, this was also part of my thinking regarding Killer Joe. He would have an idea, and which he was totally entitled to, but it just wouldn't. It didn't mesh with what I had like in my bones from all this time of doing it. So it would be a little uncomfortable for me sometimes, and I had to try and be zen about it and meet him halfway sometimes. But it's funny. It's funny when you get in situations that are beyond simply just showing up and acting, where things kind of feel a little like political, or like you're trying to make some sort of compromise, and it takes you out of your what you feel like you've understood about the part you're playing. But that didn't happen very often, but it happened every once in a while.
So, excuse me. Yeah. So the next, so you did the movie. You do a movie with Friedkin, and then the next year you're in Sidney Lumet's last movie. What was it like working with him? Like you've worked with all these, like it's like crazy how many amazing directors you've worked with at this point, and to be in his last film, like what was that like, and what do you think about it now? Like, oh, that's kind of nuts. I got to work with him.
Yeah, I adored Sidney. I adored him. He was such a gentle, kind man, um, but very direct when he needed to be. Didn't mix words. I loved being able to go through his, trademarked process, rehearsing the film in the Ukrainian ballroom, which he'd been doing for years and years and years over there on 2nd Avenue. Seeing all the sets taped out on the floor and doing a run through of the movie. I'd never been in a movie where they did a run through before you started shooting. Anybody who has more than a day, if you only have 3 or 4 lines, you might not be asked to come. But anybody who's there like at least 2 or 3 days, all the way up to the top person or the stars or whatever, you're all assembled after you've rehearsed each scene individually, and you run through the whole movie in this ballroom. This looks like a gymnasium, and you can sit there on the sidelines and watch it, and it was mind blowing to have that experience, and to really see how your little part was going to fit into the whole. And yeah, he just had a lot of joy about what he did, and I remember when we were shooting the scene in a restaurant. It's Ethan and me and Alexa Palladino, plays my sister. And we were doing a 3-shot, and he always he didn't sit at a monitor. There was a little stool on the dolly right next to the lens. He would sit right next to the lens, like a little gargoyle or something. And we were doing this. We were doing the whole scene for the 3-shot, and I remember I said something. I was looking at Ethan, and I said something, and out of the corner of my ear, I hear, and I was like, "Holy shit! I just made Sidney Lumet laugh during a take." I just wanted to grab that laugh and put it in a bag, you know. And my audition for that movie is a crazy story.
We have plenty of time, so let's.
Well, so the casting director was Ellen Lewis, and I get the sides. I go. I'm super. You know, I'm off. I'm ready to go. Off book. And Ellen's sitting there with Sidney. This is the first time I'm ever laying eyes on Sidney Lumet, and he's very unassuming. He's very small and unassuming, and he's got these really thick glasses on and flannel shirt and blue jeans. He's just sitting, you know, his hair's a little comb over. He sits there and he kind of looks at you, and he's like, uh-huh. And he's like, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to read the scene with you. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I would love to read the scene with you. Okay. So, who are you? What are you doing? And I was like, Bobby. I think his name was Bobby. Oh, Bobby. Right. Hold on. Yeah, look at his finger. He's going through the pages. Mm-hmm. And Bobby. Ellen, what is Bobby? What is it? Man, I'm just standing there like, oh, dear Lord, please find a seat. And he's like, and then he leans over and he says, yeah, there you are. That's you. Okay. Yeah, I know this. Okay, so I'm going to read with you. I think, yeah, it looks like you have the first line. And the way this particular scene starts, I walk into the bar. I say, are you, whatever Ethan's character's name is, are you such and so? And Ethan doesn't respond. And then I say, are you such and so? So we start the scene, and I say, are you such and so? And he looks at me. I'm like, are you such and so? And he looks at me, and he's like, okay, that's good. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we're good. And I turn around, walk out of the room, and Ellen walks out. And she puts her hand on my shoulder. I'm like, what just happened? What did I do wrong? She's like, you didn't do anything wrong. And a couple days later, he said, yeah, you got the part. And it's just like, he just been doing it that long, you know. He didn't even need to read the scene. It didn't matter. It was just like, yeah, it's you. Yeah. It was amazing.
I rewatched that scene today. You're very intimidating in that. I would give you the $10,000 immediately.
Thank you.
I mean, not actually, but
yeah,
you know, if I was
you
Ethan
don't have
Hawke,
$10,000.
that. Why would you know my finances?
I'm an assassin.
That's right. I forgot about that part. Okay, so 2007. Here's a big movie for you. Shotgun Stories. Your first with Jeff Nichols. How do you two meet? Obviously, it has been a since then lifelong friendship, and well, not lifelong, but since 2007. How do you guys meet? How does this collaboration happen?
Sure. Yeah. So I did a Sundance had something called a filmmakers lab for a while. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I did that once. I think it was over the summer they would do those. And I got prepared. If you don't know what it is, they give writer directors an opportunity to shoot a couple of scenes from something they're working on, hoping to get made, and they provide them with professional actors and a crew so that they can do this. And then there are mentors that wander around, very established people from all different fields, and give their input or whatever. And I got paired with a fellow named Gary Hawkins, who was a professor at the North Carolina School for the Arts, and he'd written this beautiful script called Downtime, and I did a few scenes from that for him. And when he went back to teach, he showed the scenes he had made to his class. And after class, one of his students walked up to him and said, "Oh, Gary, Mr. Hawkins, I really loved your scenes. That guy, Michael Shannon, you know how to get a hold of him?" And Gary's like, "Maybe. Why?" And the kid said, "Well, I got a script I want to give him." And Gary kind of laughed at him and said, "Yeah, that's never going to happen." But somehow he managed. I guess Gary called me and said, "Do you mind?" And I said, "No, go ahead, whatever." And that was Jeff. That was Jeff Nichols, and he sent me Shotgun Stories, and I read it, and then I wanted to do it, so I did it. Yeah.
Revolutionary Road. Oh my goodness! Like, what when you think back at that now, because it's been a while now, but that for a lot of people that might have been one of their first noticing you roles, like because you just jump off the screen in that, and you got an Oscar nomination for this movie. Like, what was that like? Did you feel in the zone when you're in that movie? You were like, okay, people are going to be paying attention to this because I still am haunted by your performance in that one.
Well, it's interesting. When I got that job, I'd actually had kind of a slow period before that. I had started seeing a woman I eventually wound up marrying, Kate. We've since split up, but we were together a long time. And I was out in San Diego because Kate was doing a show at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego, and I was basically just kind of a bum. Like she would go do her show, and I'd just kind of putter around San Diego and go see movies and eat tacos and whatever. But she had uh, she had given me the book Revolutionary Road as a gift because she loved it so much. I had never even heard of Richard Yates. I didn't know how. I said, "Oh, you like this? Okay." So I read the book, and it just was like a 2x4 on the side of my head. I was like, this is my favorite book now. But I actually found out about that they were making a movie out of it in the newspaper, I think, or I read about it, and I called who was representing me at the time, and I said, "Is there any way you could get me in for this movie? Because I really, really, really love this book, and I'll do anything. I don't care, whatever part. I just really want to be a part of this." And then, they managed to get me an audition, and yeah, the rest is history. But I just really love that book, and I love that character, John Givings, very much. But I feel like the book was my main inspiration. I just used everything that Richard had written about this person and how they behaved. And I mean, that's the one thing always when you're taking a book to the screen is that you've got to try and bring all this non-dialogue but beautiful material from the book that you're not going to get to say out loud, but you got to try and manifest it in your performance or somehow. And but I found it very, I don't know. It wasn't. I wish I could say it was a lot of work, but because then people say, well, if it was a lot of work, then we should really congratulate you. But it wasn't. It wasn't that much work. It just made sense to me.
So I'm going to take another question from this one's from Brett. What is a performance, whether it's in film, TV, live theater, that you feel is your most slept-on performance of your career?
Well, like unacknowledged, right? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Gosh, there's so many to choose from. That's the thing. Is that
I mean, we already discussed
most
Kangaroo
people
Jack. So.
that know me from like one of 5 things, and I've made like 500 things. Gosh, I mean, Grand Theft Parsons, I guess. You should really watch Grand Theft Parsons.
Now you are mad about this again. I was told he was over this. You all saw it.
Look, here's the thing. If you ever have had a fantasy about watching me do yoga in my underwear, you should watch Grand Theft Parsons. Because in Grand Theft Parsons, that's exactly what happens.
You sat there and looked me in the eye and said, I do not care about this anymore.
What else? I made this movie that I don't think a lot of people saw called What They Had, that I actually think is a really beautiful movie. Blythe Danner and Robert Forster play my parents, and Hilary Swank plays my sister, and Thaisa Farmiga plays her daughter. And it's a really beautiful little ensemble family piece. And we made it in Chicago. And I don't think anybody's seen it. But I've made so many movies that not many people have seen. But that's okay. Practice.
I really don't know where this is going to go mentioning this name. Hopefully somewhere interesting. But after Revolutionary Road, you did Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, with Werner Herzog. What was that like? What's he like as a director? I've heard many stories, but I'd love to get your opinion on this.
I love Werner. I miss him. I haven't seen him in a while. I actually just bought a book of his just the other day. He's got this new book called The Future of Truth, which is really, really trippy. Yeah, there's nobody like him. He's a one-of-a-kind person, truly. You know, he kind of falls into the category of he's so freaking smart and he's so well read that he's one of these people that I would be just as happy just to sit and talk to as work. You know, my favorite thing with him is just, you know, having dinner and listening to him talk. But yeah, we did 3 movies together. He's taken me all over the world. That Bad Lieutenant he did, I thought Nick Cage was amazing in that, and that was the first time I was on set was with Werner, was acting with Nicolas Cage, and that was crazy. He's so much fun, Nicolas Cage, to watch and work, you know, off of. He's just, his energy is just like radioactivity. It's very rare to. Most people are very understandably, you know, you prepare and you think, you know, this is what it is. This is how it should go. This is what happens. And when Nick Cage is there, it's just like anything could happen at any moment, and you're just like, okay, yes, yeah, oh yeah, that, all right, sure. So that was cool, and then we did My Son, What Have You Done? And next thing I know, I'm in Peru, you know, standing at Machu Picchu with Werner Herzog. And he's pointing down around. He's like, over there, it was in Fitzcarraldo. That's where one of the PAs had to cut off their foot because it got bit by a snake. They had to cut his foot off over there. and then over there, this happened. He's just pointing around the hills around Machu Picchu like it's his backyard or something. It was very surreal. Yeah.
I'm noticing that you've been put in danger quite a few times now for your films.
Yes. Assassin. That's why it's the logical jump. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that I guess to consider. I don't know, but oftentimes, I mean, who here hasn't? You
I've
go to
never
work,
walked through
yeah,
Australia
you don't
at
know
night
what
by the
it's
moonlight.
like, man. You show up and they want you. I mean, it can be even small stuff like they're using some chemical that doesn't smell right, or you're always being put in situations where you're like, is this healthy? Am I gonna regret? Should I be breathing in this styrofoam? But I don't know. I guess if you wanna act, you gotta put up with it. I don't know. That's what the union's supposed to keep us all safe. Yeah.
That's why you're here tonight, to
Yeah,
file a
yeah.
complaint.
Safety first. Yes.
I mentioned the 2 SAG awards he has won for because
Thanks
that's where we're
for
at
giving them to me. Yeah.
now. Boardwalk Empire.
Yes.
It's strange to it's tough in like a retrospective to just be like, hey, what was that like when it's this thing that was like 4 years of your life and multiple seasons and probably multiple memories, but that had to have a huge impact on your career.
Well, the awards were for ensemble, which I was very proud of to be a member of that ensemble. I mean, that's for my money, one of the most incredible ensembles I've ever seen on television. People that came into that show. Um, so yeah, I just enjoyed being in that group. And yeah, I so many moments, so many relationships, friendships that I still have. Tim Van Patten, who directed about a third of Boardwalk Empire, is still a great friend of mine. And my buddy Shea Wiggum, who I worked with so many times. We finally got to do some stuff together on the show. That was amazing. And
Who's in Death by Lightning, your new show
in
coming?
Death
Yeah,
by
who's
Lightning.
fantastic in it.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. You're correct. It's hard to summarize Boardwalk Empire. It was actually 5 seasons.
I said 4 years.
Oh, I see. 4 years, 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I think 5 seasons is 5 years, isn't it?
Well, it depends. Okay, we'll give. It's fine.
We'll call it 4.5.
We'll call it 4.5 years. Okay. 2011. Take Shelter. One of my favorite movies. First time I interviewed you ever was for that movie.
Okay.
Just one of my favorite performances I've ever seen. Just
thanks, Mike. Thank you.
What is it about you and Jeff? I know we already talked about him, but that is a special film.
I don't know. If I could bottle it, I'd sell it. I don't know. I mean, it's just we're kindred spirits, We have some things in common, We're both from the South, and we both, love nature, and it's funny with Take Shelter because I'm not even. I've said this before. I'm not even sure that it's about the same thing for him as it is for me. But that's okay.
What does that mean?
Well, I just literally think we have. If you were to ask both of us what the movie was about, we would have different answers to that question. But that's fine. And then people watch it and they have their own version of what it's about for them.
What do you think it's about?
Oh, well, I think it's a lot of people that I've talked to about the movie think it's an exploration of mental illness, which is understandable because in the movie Jeff shows you that Curtis's mother is struggling with those issues herself, and that he's worried it might be inherited. But to me, the larger question, or the question for me at the time, which was a question that I was dealing with in my own life, in my own existence, which was how do you live in a world like this and not go insane or not feel constantly threatened by it? Because there, everything is so fragile and deteriorating every day. I mean, it's so much more out to lunch now than it was back when we made that movie. And there's all these warnings we keep getting about, if we want to stick around, there, we really need to do A, B, C, and D, and none of it's happening. And so, in a world like that, how do you just keep your cool? So I that's how I identified with it, and um, particularly when you have people that you love and care about and want to protect. How do you make peace with that? It's something I still struggle with, frankly.
I have watched it somewhat recently, and you're 100% right. Like, I remember when it came out, I saw it then because I did an interview with you, and it hit me hard then. It is really, like, in a good way, difficult to watch now, because it's just like, oh man, this is how I feel. Like, right. Just every day hearing all this stuff happening, it's just like, what are you supposed to do? You got to build a shelter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Rolling Stones said it first. Give me shelter, baby.
Yeah, which isn't a lot of Martin Scorsese movies. We're back to him again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite performances he's ever given, which is probably going to surprise people when I say what this is. I Love You So. Who here remembers Premium Rush? Detective Bobby Monday. You were having the time of your life in that movie.
I played 2 detectives named Bobby. Who can say that? Because Detective Bobby Andes.
Oh yeah. Your other, you got another Oscar nomination for that one.
But yeah, Bobby Monday, that was a fun one. Yeah, I think about that every time I go there. There's that area around FIT where it's all like flower shops. You know what I'm talking about? We shot there. We closed that block down and shot this big sequence there. And every time I walk by there, it just takes me right back to shooting that. And yeah, there's some little street in Chinatown that's literally just one block, and it's kind of like a twisty. Doyers, yeah, we shot on Doyers. Yeah. And all these, that was so much fun making that movie. So much fun.
So here's a little special treat. So earlier today, I emailed David Koepp, and I told him we were doing this and what he remembers from this. And he responded literally 15 minutes before this started. And I'm just going to read it. Mike's intensity and focus are unparalleled. He really leaned into the self-destructive mayhem of Bobby Monday. I think he cackled with glee at that, both on camera and off. I know he was having fun. Many of the great lines were ad-libs. Come on, son, you're going to skin your knee. The other thing is the intensity of his thought process. I learned over a few days to wait when he takes a long pause. He's thinking, and something awesome is about to follow. Mike's unafraid of silence. Out of it comes great things. Then he wished us both luck.
Oh, David. That's so sweet. I haven't seen him in a while. He had that movie, Black Bag. He wrote that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that just came out.
He had the Jurassic Park movie, or World movie earlier this year, too. Yeah, he wrote that.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah. No, I haven't seen him in a while. Did you like it? The Black Bag or Jurassic World? Which one?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the new Jurassic World movie? Oh, doesn't want to answer that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm behind on Jurassic movies. I've seen this many of them. Sorry, Steven.
You've never seen the first one?
I've never seen any of them. No. I know.
How's that even possible?
I don't know, man. I go to like film forum. I'm one of those.
They
guys.
don't play the Jurassic World at Film Forum.
Yeah.
Well, there's 7 of them for you to catch up on now. So.
I know. That's what I feel like. I'm so far behind now. I'll never catch up. Yeah.
All
Just
right,
stick to park. All right. Okay. Duly noted.
I hope none of these are about your opinions on Jurassic Park, because we're going to be in trouble. Okay. I've noticed some leads are really outgoing on set, while others stay more quiet and focused. What's your style, and what do you like to run in on set? Or how do you like to run a set?
I'm not like, you don't have to walk on tiptoes around me, but I don't like make small talk. I don't know. But you can.
Well, David just told us you like silence, so.
Yeah, I mean, silence is my favorite thing, which is always fun to say during an interview.
Yeah. Especially one in front of people.
I mean, when I was in San Diego, like I was talking about earlier, I saw this documentary called Into Great Silence. And it was like 3 hours long. And there was no dialogue in it. And it was all about monks. I think that's actually my favorite movie. Yeah. You just watch monks like cleaning a monastery.
Okay, it's making more and more sense why you have not seen Jurassic World.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Those movies have a lot of noise.
Yeah. I'm very hypersensitive, you know, like not just emotionally, but like to everything. Like I can't. That's why the city sometimes I'm just like, no, I gotta go. I'm from the country, man. I'm from Kentucky boy. You know, yeah.
You're looking at me like I don't. I lived at Lake
Let
of the
me
Ozarks.
go home, Mike.
I lived in Missouri.
Let me go back to Kentucky.
I'm from Missouri, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Missouri.
Yeah, our states border somewhat.
Josh Hawley. I know. I got Mitch McConnell and fucking Rand Paul. Shit.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry if anyone here is a big Josh Hawley fan. I am not. So, for the record. Yeah. I don't get to vote there anymore. I have to vote here now. So for a long time. So.
Have you voted yet?
No, I'm gonna go Friday because you get a Halloween sticker.
I'm gonna go Friday too.
Yeah, because they're special.
Yeah.
I voted Halloween stickers, and I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They do special ones for Halloween. It's got like a Halloween design. Yeah.
What are you gonna do with it?
Wear it for a day and then stick it on the refrigerator.
Okay.
What are you gonna do with yours?
Well, don't wear all the sticky off.
Well, no. I mean, I can use a piece of tape.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
They sell adhesives
Yeah,
at stores that I could, if it wears off a bit.
God, I'm learning so much.
How often do you
Little did I know that tonight I would learn too.
Yeah. Many different kinds of adhesives. You get the hardware stores have like great selections.
Next question.
So on over the weekend, someone asked me if I could do something tonight, and I couldn't because I'm sitting here with you. And I mentioned that, and she screamed and said, "Him reading the sorority letter is still my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, thank you. So
people still talk about it, and I know it's a while ago now.
Check this out. So I don't know how many people have watched that.
It's tens of millions. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how much money I made to do that? $0.0. Isn't that funny?
But the accolades.
The accolades, they're very valuable. But yeah, it's just funny. I feel like I was a bit of a dodo. I don't know. I should have.
No, you're very. Oh,
I
the
should
money
have
part.
signed. Like
Yeah.
on the off chance that tens of millions of people watch this, can I get like a couple $100 or something? It's just a lesson, a life lesson. But they say it falls under the category of promotions because I did it on a press tour. But I think I was acting.
Oh, you're definitely acting.
Yeah,
You're great in
I
that.
don't know, but I'm still glad I'm not bitter.
No, I know. I'm not falling for that again.
Yeah.
I've been told this before about you, and then it turned out to be a lie.
I'm sneaky. I'm a slippery guy.
Man of Steel.
Yep.
Actually, he did a really nice thing for me once. I was interviewing you for it may have been Take Shelter, and you took a phone call in the middle of the interview, and it was like an important phone call, and you felt so bad. You were like so apologetic. You felt so bad. You're like, I'm filming Man of Steel. Just you already told someone you're gonna have flippers in that. You were doing a lot of fake answers. You're like, I owe you a real one. Whatever you want to know about it, I'll tell you the truth, and you did, and I thought that was really nice.
What did I say?
Oh yeah, I wrote it down. Oh yeah, because that picture came out. There was a leaked set photo of you wearing a costume with a bunch of like tennis balls on it because they were going to add the costume later. And so you said, "I look like an idiot. I don't look anything like General Zod. I'm a total failure."
Oh, thank you.
Those were your words. I don't think that. I think you're great as General Zod.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they wouldn't have done all the CGI on it and just released the version that we shot.
Well, yeah, a lot of movies probably.
Yeah. I would like to see that actually of a lot of movies. Like, I wish that was an option, that you could see the movies without any CGI. Just see what they shot. There's a great scene in Man of Steel where I'm looking out the window of a spaceship and I see my planet, which my entire life has been my responsibility to protect, explode in the distance. And I realize that my home and my civilization are completely destroyed. And when I was shooting the scene, I was looking at a blue piece of fabric and there was a little orange square of tape. And they said, so the orange square of tape is your planet exploding. And I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything. If you imagine if you just saw me staring, if you went to the theater and it was just a blue sheet with a piece of orange tape on it, you're like, what the hell is he doing? What's wrong with that guy?
So if they released that version of Jurassic Park, you would go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
With just people staring at sheets that are supposed to be dinosaurs.
Well, they do have animatronics, you're right. Some of them, they actually...
Yeah, in the first one, they do use some animatronics. I don't think they do that as much anymore. They should.
Yeah.
So this is from Dan. Early in your career, did you find you gained more traction with mainstream movies, or smaller films like Jesus' Son and Tigerland?
You have to define traction.
Yeah, define traction. Dan is it Dan?
I pissed Dan off. He's gone.
Yeah, he left.
I mean, I see there's like a mass exodus. Am I not doing this right? Everybody's leaving. There's like 12 people have left in the last 2 minutes.
I think it's probably more on me than you.
I thought I had something to say.
I feel it's more on me than you.
Okay.
We'll
traction. I don't. I don't know because this is a frustrating way to answer this question, but I'm not even sure where I'm going. So like the traction towards what? You know, I don't know. It's like um, I like I said, I make films that I think nobody even knows they exist, and I make films that lots of people see and get upset about. But I it's all kind of. I mean, when I say that Being There is one of my favorite movies, it's really because I actually feel like Chauncey Gardner. Like that's me. Like I'm like some dude who was like sitting around watching TV and working in the garden, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting next to Shirley MacLaine, and she's like making the moves on me, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Wait,
how did this happen?
Oh, in the movie.
Being There, right?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
I mean, she's still around. I didn't know if you were like that also happened to you.
No, but I'm just saying, you just feel like you're not entirely sure how you even wound up where you are. You know, it's like people will ask me for advice, and I don't have the slightest idea what to say. I say I don't know.
Well, that's why people are walking out. Like they
I have
want the
no
advice.
I like one minute I was doing plays in the basement of a coffee house for no money, and nobody came to see them, but I just did them anyway because I enjoyed it. And then I did a play where it got a nice write up in the paper, and people actually started coming, and then they said, "Well, we'll give you $25 a show," and then it's just and you just keep showing up, and I don't know. I'm not strategic in that way. I'm not sitting around like, what's my 5-year plan, or how do I get here or there. It's all I like the mystery of it. Now, but I also understand that that's a luxury, particularly nowadays, that I have, that I don't have to try and strategize, because I know for some people it's a lot harder to, and I don't know. I don't know what my secret key was. I really don't know. I just keep. I guess part of it is that I I I wouldn't stop doing it. Like, I would do it whether you were paying me or you weren't paying me, or whether people saw it or they didn't see it. I just didn't care. I just kept doing it. I mean, there are things I did. I literally did a play once by myself. Like, there wasn't even a stage manager. There was nobody. Like, and it was in a basement, and the door opened. There was a person that worked at the cafe. They let people know the show was starting, and took like $3 or whatever it was, and they came down the stairs to the basement. And there I was sitting there. There wasn't even a stage manager. There was, and as soon as they closed the door at the top, I would start, and I'd do it, and then I'd just walk out, and that was it. Like, I would do stuff like that because I'm just obsessed with like doing this stuff. But I don't. It's not like. That's sometimes what I see, particularly with the younger generation, is like they don't. They think there's an easier way to do it, like a quick way to do it, and I guess a lot of that has to do with, I don't know, social media, or the way people get hyped up nowadays for doing a dance for 30 seconds or something. I don't know. Like, oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Dude, the way she's holding that cat. It's amazing. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, dancing with a cat, that's a different. Those are fun to watch.
Yeah. But, yeah. It's, yeah, anyway, I don't know what gave me the most traction. But you can't stop me, goddammit.
Well, see, it's that attitude that's why you didn't get paid for your sorority letter,
Yeah,
because they heard you say you'd do anything for no money.
I would. They read my my profile before I showed up. Yeah.
You did mention twice you played Detective Bobby's Nocturnal Animals, your second Oscar nomination. for people who don't remember, that awards, correct me if I'm wrong, that Oscar was the Moonlight La La Land night, wasn't it?
I witnessed that in person. Yes, I did. I saw it. Yeah.
I want Michael Shannon's version of events that night.
I was way too drunk to remember. By the end of the Oscars, I mean, you have to understand, like, there's free booze in the lobby at any time. The first time I went to the Oscars, during all the Slumdog Millionaire musical numbers that seemed to go on for a couple of years, I was out in the lobby drinking gin and tonics. And by the time it got to Best Actress, Kate Winslet was sitting in front of us, and I bent over and I said, "You're gonna get it." I said something encouraging to her, and I sit back, and my wife at the time, Kate, was laughing, and I said, "Why are you laughing?" She said, "You realize you were just speaking in a British accent." I was like, "No, I wasn't." She's like, "Yes, you were. You were speaking in a phony British accent to Kate Winslet." I was like, "Oh God." Yeah.
Why?
The gin, man. The gin took over. I don't know. I thought she'd feel more comfortable, I guess. I don't know. But I think it did seem like with this whole Moonlight La La Land, like everybody must have just been out of their heads by that. I mean, it's 4 hours long or something, isn't it? I don't drink anymore. I stopped after that. Yeah.
All right. No, that lived up to every expectation I ever had about that story. So thank you. Before we're on a time, I do want to talk about Eric LaRue. Who's seen Eric LaRue? He directed that.
I directed a movie.
You directed a movie. Why at that point in your career? Why that story? Because that is a tough subject to take on. If everyone doesn't know, it's a film about the after effects of a school shooting and what it does to, most specifically, Judy Greer, who plays the mother of the shooter.
Yeah, so Eric LaRue is written by a guy named Brett Neveu, and me and Brett are in a theater company together in Chicago called the Red Orchid Theater. We've been around since 1993. And back in 2002, we produced the premiere of Eric LaRue at our theater. It was a play we did after Bug, actually. And I remember I had nothing to do with it. I didn't direct it. I wasn't in it, but I would go see it because I loved it so much. And then years went by, and me and Brett collaborated. I acted in plays he wrote. I directed a play he wrote. And he, on the closing night of a play of his that I directed, he came up to me and he handed me the screenplay for Eric LaRue. He said, "I've finally gotten around to writing a screenplay out of this, and I want to read it and see what you think." And so I read it, and then and I had sworn I would never try and direct a movie ever under any circumstances because it just looked like a nightmare to me. But there's so much responsibility and accountability and people asking you questions. And I always wonder how directors sleep at night, how they're able to just stop thinking about everything and just fall asleep. So anyway, it wasn't something I was terribly interested in doing. But then I read that screenplay, and it was just like one of the big switches in the movie, just like, and I was like, "Oh, I have to direct this." And I told him that, and because to me, first of all, I had so much compassion for all of the characters that I didn't want to just be one of them. I wanted to participate in all of their journeys, and you can only do that from a director's chair. And and I just felt like I could see it, I could visualize it. I had a very visual reaction to it. Like I knew what it looked like, which I don't usually have that sensation when I'm reading a screenplay. I was like, oh, it should look like this, and and I could cast it in my mind. I was like, oh, such and so should be this, and such and so. It just seemed like, and I wanted to take care of it because it felt, because for me, it's like directors. There's this conception of directing as like an authoritative position where you go out and you like tell people, do this, do that. This, I want this, I want that. That's good, that sucks, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's like, it's more of a nurturing of, and like assembling people, giving them space and love, letting them feel safe, not scared. Because, like you say, the material is scary enough as it is. You don't need to compound that. Knowing that most actors show up to work no matter how much preparation they've done, feeling a little, some doubt or some insecurity, or like, am I going to do this right? And I actually, despite my reputation for being a big scary dude, that's a very natural place for me to be. And I'm not saying that like in an arrogant way, like, oh, I'm so friendly or whatever, but it's just something that appeals to me, like creating that environment. So that's why I did it. Yeah.
Is it something you'd want to do again? I mean,
I
can't tell from
I
that
may
answer.
never do
honestly.
it again. I may never do it again. I don't know. It was really about reading the material. I would never be a director for hire. I would never just go do an episode of Law and Order SVU because I wanted to buy a new suit or something. I have to be very, very passionate about it. Yeah.
And again, before we run out of time, I did want to spend a little bit on the stuff you have coming out, like Nuremberg. Nuremberg's coming out soon.
Nuremberg.
Kind of a very heavy subject. It's about the Nuremberg trials, obviously.
Yes, and for those of you who've seen Judgment at Nuremberg, it's very different.
It is.
Because and somebody explained it to me. The case, what you see in Judgment at Nuremberg is way after what happens in this Nuremberg movie, because those are later trials dealing with lower level Nazis. But this is taking on Hermann Goering, played by Russell Crowe, who I have to say is magnificent in the movie.
Yeah, it's you play a Supreme Court justice who is the head prosecutor, and you have to go toe to toe Russell Crowe as his character. And Russell Crowe, famously at the time, Goering put on like a charm offensive to try to win people over. And he's one of the most evil men in history. And your job is to try to prove that this charming man should pay for his crimes. And it is an acting force between you and Russell Crowe. It's great.
You said this charming man, it made me think of the Smiths. Is that what the Smiths song is about? This charming man? Is it about Goering?
Yeah.
I
That's
never knew.
People don't know that. It's about him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have some help. We have Rami Malek as Dr. Douglas Kelly, an army psychiatrist who comes over to evaluate all of our prisoners and try and keep them from killing themselves before we can hang them, and also help us with our case. It's a fascinating story. It's based on a book called Nazi and the Psychiatrist. I highly recommend reading that if you see the movie and enjoy it, because then you'll get even more details.
Death by Lightning.
Death by Lightning.
You play the president. He's the president of the United States.
I
James
finally
Garfield.
did it, kids. I played a president of the United States.
James Garfield, one of the most popular presidents of all time.
Okay, you don't have to rub it in my face.
No, that.
I'm not really FDR material.
what is so great about him as Garfield is before I started watching it, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess there should be a show about this guy. And then I'm watching it and I'm enthralled. I'm just like, this is one of the most interesting portrayals of a president I've ever seen. And your old acting buddy Nick Offerman plays Chester
Arthur.
Yeah, and you're vice president now, and you guys just go at it. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and we got Shea Wiggum, my old pal, playing kind of, I don't know, my nemesis, Roscoe Conkling. This is all true stuff. It's all true stuff, and it is. And then Bradley Whitford's in there, and Betty Gilpin plays my wife. She's amazing. She wrote that funny thing to the AI actress. Did everybody read that? Yeah, that was amazing. God bless her. But yeah, it's a heck of a story. I didn't know anything about it. I don't think anybody knows anything about it. I mean, if you've seen Assassins, the Sondheim musical, then you know about Charles Guiteau a little bit. But and Matthew McFadden's playing Charles Guiteau, my assassin. He's no slouch. So yeah, it's and we had an amazing director, Matt Ross, who worked like a dog. He was so much. He directed all 4 episodes, which was nice, and we shot it in Budapest. I shot both Nuremberg and Death by Lightning in Budapest, which is weird. They were kind of consecutive, actually. So yeah, it was about 6 months in Budapest. So I recommend it, Budapest.
And spoiler, James Garfield is assassinated.
Yeah. One of 4 American presidents assassinated.
Yes.
Lincoln, Kennedy, McKinley, Garfield.
The Garfield one is. Does anyone actually know this story? It's nuts. The Garfield assassination, because the bullet didn't kill him. He dies from like sepsis. Is that right?
Yeah. Apparently, if he would have gotten shot today, he would have been out of the hospital in 48 hours. Even if back then, if the doctors he never even came to see him, he would have survived. He would have survived. But what killed him was there were a lot of doctors in America in the late 1800s, which is not that long ago, who didn't think germs existed, which is mind-boggling. Because everybody over in Europe was saying all about the germs. You know, Joseph Lister, Semmelweis, who's from Hungary, they were like, germs, watch out. And the American doctors were like, we got this. And so there's some guy poking his, no soap, no gloves, no nothing, just digging his finger into his wound, and that's why he died. Yeah. So think about that next time you see RFK Jr.
All right, we're going to end on that. Michael Shannon, everybody.
Thank you.